so hard to let you go.
All right.
It's not what I was feeling. Could marry me. Then we'll go to the immigration office first thing in the morning.
Well, I thought this was an interesting piece. I don't know that it's actually about letting go or considering long distance relationships. Or is it a comment on Americans and how they think compared to foreigners? Is it that we are self centered or naive? The American boyfriend just wants his love to stay and not think about his family far away, perhaps living in the world of a developing nation. And the foreign boyfriend is trying to make him understand he's going to follow through with his plan to go and help his family out. And he's not even trying to break off the relationship. He is selfless, and the American is being quite selfish. Also, the addition of the character of the woman, she's in the desert, doesn't have a match, and then she's condescending when she calls this couple adorable. Is that another comment on how Americans are viewed? I wonder if the filmmaker is from a foreign country and who the writing was done by. I thought it was an excellent comment.
I loved this piece because it was so honest and so raw without going into the too precious territory, especially with that interference of the stranger kind of breaking it up and commenting on their perfect looking relationship. That's just like this little bout to cut the tension with some humor. I love this piece because it picked up on some really interesting themes of like respecting someone else's dreams and wishes, and how different ideologies or different cultures can interfere with the perfect romantic love story. But maybe that is true love, to respect someone's choices even when you don't agree with it. Um, Great environment, and I felt the road trip nostalgia coming through. Even with this idea of clearing out the garbage from the car at the end, when you look at all like the fun you've had and making space to carry on.
It's really, really touching story of this couple that is essentially letting go of each other, and breaking things off. And you can sense that pain and that tension throughout the piece, leading up to, saying, please let me go. And, this is hard enough for the both of us. And I think that's such a real aspect of relationships when they do in this way. And I think the performance by these two actors was just really, really well done, incredibly heartfelt, and you could really feel that emotion peeking through in each of these scenes. I think it was captured really well. I think it was written really well. And that allowed the actors to go on this journey and take us on this journey as well. I think it was a really intimate setting. I think it was, camera-wise, the pacing was really good, and you could sense the lead up to this final release of, like, let's let this go. Overall, it was a really, really touching story and really well done.
It starts abruptly, sort of in the middle of a moment. I get a sense that we're being catapulted into this situation with this couple. Almost like this is a part of a bigger piece that's been like chopped down. Or maybe that's purposely done, but it felt like a cut out of a full. So we're catapulted into this relationship. We get immediately into this proposal. And there's this sense of it being an urgent proposal, not planned. There's immigration issues, and the offer of marriage is made because they want this person to stay. He's coming from a country where being gay is illegal. And it was interesting because it's such a high tense moment that in an argument between these two, and you have these random interruptions, comedic relief, where, you have this passerby trying to get a lighter, which I thought was just an interesting choice because it's just like, where did she come from? But that's why I said maybe it's part of a bigger whole, because if this was a bigger piece, maybe this was a consistent comedic situation that was happening along the time when they were camping out in this desert area. But he has to make him understand that being there for his family, despite the circumstances of his country, is more important than coming out. And for the other guy, for him, being American born, having that right to love who you want is something that's very important to him. And he just doesn't understand why you wouldn't want to stay here, why you wouldn't want to be in this relationship. Whereas the other one is coming from a country where family values are probably at the height of importance, and being supportive for the family is probably at the height of the importance. So they have very different ideals, and they love each other, it's clear, but they're very different ideals on what's important. In the end, he allows himself to let go, which brings us back to the title. I feel like what I took away from this is, to love something, you have to let it go.
I was really impressed by the performances of the leads, one who pleads desperately and the other who is equally upset and says sadly, "Just let me go." This scene nearly brought me to tears. The location of the dry, gloomy desert really worked for this sad story. I also liked the energetic performance of the third character who witnesses their breakup. I thought the music on the car radio was quite suitable for this story. Great writing, pace, and direction.
This is about letting love go. The story, we have a gentleman who is not out to his family and plans to return home to his familial duties to support. His lover doesn't want him to go. In fact, he wants to spend the rest of his days with him. This is a complex moment as this man is conflicted to be part of his family that doesn't accept him for who he truly is. Meanwhile, here is this alternative option, yet he can't break away from these society and cultural expectations. He wants to follow through with what's expected of him. How do you let someone you love go despite knowing this decision won't make them happy in the long run? There is a fire put out on love, literally.
Definitely very effective at capturing a pivotal dialogue between two characters, and I think it did it in a really interesting way with the dialogue. And a simple setting and background. I found the middle character to be really funny, comedic relief, and I liked how that was included in there. I think it definitely worked well to juxtapose with what's everything else that was going on in the scene.